All right, this is the Jewel Mirror Samadhi, a talk by teacher Hong in the Cameron Highlands. Leanings on the song of the Jeweled Mirror Samadhi by Zen master Aida from Japan, rendered into Chinese by Shuao Shou, a Chan retreat in the Cameron Highlands from November 2005, with guidance and Dharma instruction from a teacher named Hong Wenliang. Try that. So I'll give a little explanation first. The jewel mirrored samadhi, that word, those three words, hear that as emptiness, as Atman, as radiant presence, as God, as reality. And the rest of this passage will make sense. This time I'll introduce to everyone the Song of the Jeweled Mirror Samadhi. Song indicates a text cast as prose or verse. Jeweled Mirror Samadhi is Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, which means supreme perfect enlightenment. The Song of the Jeweled Mirror Samadhi was composed by Chan Master Dangshan. Shito, I'm probably getting all these names wrong. Shito Shi Quan wrote The Harmony of Difference and Sameness. These two texts are sister works. This one explains things more fully than the harmony of difference and sameness, but the manner of writing is the same. In Soto temples, these two texts are chanted morning and evening without fail, which shows their importance. The jeweled mirror samadhi is balls and tiles. So supreme perfect enlightenment is balls and tiles. It is walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. It is the coming and going of birth and death. It is the rise and fall of suffering and happiness. The jewel mirrored samadhi is walls and tiles. It is walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. This single line states the crux completely. Walls are it. Stones are it. You're sneezing, walking, sleeping. Every moment of walking, standing, sitting, and lying is the jeweled mirror samadhi. What then remains to be said? What troubles us most is birth and death and their comings and goings. Where does the intermediate state go? Are there 6 destinies of rebirth? Is there a hell? Is there a pure land to which one may go? Is there a heaven to ascend to? These questions of the comings and goings of birth and death are crucial, and their answer can be given with a single phrase: the jeweled mirrored samadhi. Does this seem strange? The rise and fall of suffering and happiness includes pain, numbness, itchiness. These are all it. This means there is not some special samadhi into which those who have cultivated may enter, while those who have not may not. Nor is it that only those of attainment have the jeweled mirror samadhi. No, whether Buddha or ordinary person, sentient or insentient, steam bun, diamond, singing, walking, all are it. What does this mean? Seen with the true eye, the whole universe is a single jeweled mirror samadhi. Because it is a single one, there is no seer and nothing seen. Quote, seen with the true eye means without muddled confusion. We often look through colored lenses and then take things to be red, green, white, and so on. To see with the true eye is to add no bias to what we see. The entire universe is a single jeweled mirror samadhi. Precisely because the entire universe is one jeweled mirror samadhi. Of course, walking, standing, sitting, lying, walls and tiles, the comings and goings of birth and death are all one jeweled mirror samadhi. Because a single one is one piece, there is just one piece. Because the whole is a single piece, there is no seer and nothing seen. Your whole body is yourself. Could your left foot be me while your right foot is not me? Could the right foot look at the left foot and say, it is not you? Or the left foot look at the right foot and say, it is not you? Could it be like that? The whole of it is oneself. If you step outside and look back, then you divide it. Since the whole of it is one, can it be divided? It cannot. Can water divide into this water, looking at that water? All water is water. Can you take the taste of it? Ordinarily, we look at once, ordinarily, we look and at once divide into you, I, and he. In truth, when I look at you and you look at him, he, I, and you are one and the same thing, a single jeweled mirror. Hearing this, we get confused. You are you, a stone is a stone is not me. How can a stone and I be one thing? Do you agree? If a tiger appears right in front of you, am I the tiger? No, right? How could a tiger be me? In the harmony of difference and sameness, this is the principle of interfusion and non-interfusion. Interfusion is that the whole universe is one jeweled mirror, Samadhi. Non-interfusion points to the other as tiger, while I am I. This is non-interfusion. The harmony of difference and sameness emphasizes that in our world, our thoughts all take the tiger to be over there, about to eat me, and I must flee, and so on. Each one independent and non-interfusing. Seen with the true eye, originally the whole of it is the manifestation of a single Dharma realm, the Dharma nature. How to accord with it. Rather than explaining doctrine endlessly, better that you simply sit cross-legged. Put simply, that is all. It is not the case that you think, that's it. That is merely your conceptual consciousness thinking it is right. And I'll read, there's 3 more paragraphs and then we'll end it here and pick it back up tomorrow. If you take, quote, meeting and understanding to be a mirror, you will enter hell as swiftly as an arrow. The saying is not to be heard of. Mountains and rivers are not seen in a mirror. Mountains, rivers, grasses, and trees are the mirror. Master Kokan said, do not set my hands in motion. There is a person like jade. Do not set my feet in motion. The whole body appears as accomplished. Just look. Just look. So the essence here is to see that our nature is actually what appears. Our nature is experience. The cause of suffering is this idea that I'm in here somewhere and I'm experiencing this thing called reality that's out here. But when we really look within and we examine this, we find that any part of our field of experience is not separable from consciousness, from our nature. Buddhism likes to call it mind. Vedanta likes to call it consciousness. But we're referring to this principle that has been present from the beginning of our birth, from our earliest memory. This principle of mind, consciousness, that which we perceive to be experiencing things, has been present. In our first memory, it's just this principle. Was your mind there or not there in your first memory? Of course it was there. When you get older as a teenager, you can point to any points in time your mind consciousness was there. All transcendent experiences. Many of you have had deep states arise from meditation or had very spontaneous, profound awakenings. Even in these kenshos or these deep transcendent realities, was your mind there or not? Was consciousness there or not? Of course it was, otherwise you wouldn't remember it. So even in the most transcendent unity, God, absolute perfection, eternity, the mind is appearing as that, the same way that it appears as this. So if this nature is fundamentally inescapable, then walking, sitting, talking, eating, suffering, pain, bliss, are this very nature. But because our mind distinguishes experience, or better put, because thought distinguishes experience as better or worse, or favorable or unfavorable, pleasant, unpleasant, because of those distinctions and preferences, there's suffering. The reason that practice is necessary is because although this knowing or this recognition may be the case for you, you've had me pointed out before, or this dawned on you naturally. It takes a refinement to have this understanding be the case in difficult circumstances. In the parts of our lives and practice where there's resistance or suffering, is because we're not seeing the absolute view, this knowledge, this understanding in that area. We're regarding it as those designations and the categorizations we've given it. Being broke is it. Having money is it. Having health is it. Losing your health is it. Nothing is apart from this field. And so all things, however they look, or however they feel, or however difficult they are, they're nothing other than this. You're not able to separate your consciousness from anything around you. You're not able to find where your mind ends and the person in front of you begins. So when you see that your most transcendent, profound, uh, God consciousness, cosmic consciousness experiences are just as much consciousness, just as much reality as right now, or as breakfast, or as lunch, or as the problems and conditions you're facing. That's the harmony of sameness. Oh, you're gonna go listen to it in there? Okay, sure. With the view that seeing is this, is God, is presence, with the understanding that walking is this, that talking is this, that hearing is this. Your meditation changes because you recognize that everything is actually meditating. How do how do you come to this recognition? You look at your mind investigate. Again and again until the insight becomes clear that you're not able to separate mind from what appears, and it becomes gradually known, or immediately, depends, that they're two words for the same thing. We have the impression that there's appearances and there's consciousness, or that there's awareness and then what awareness is subject to. But when we look at the field of our experience, we find that there's just what's happening. Like the sense that I'm experiencing something, that's just the sense of a person experiencing something. It's like, imagine this snapshot of that. And then you move over here and you experience something else. And then you move over there and you experience something else. Every single moment, every single aspect of the field, everything that you do, there's just the components of that moment right then and there. And it's a full blossom. It's a complete deal all the time. When you're walking, when you're talking, when you're listening, reality is in full expression right then and there. There's no actual holding back that experience ever does, ever. When you touch the heat of your coffee or you drink tea, that heat is 1000% heat. Everything's 1000% full all the time. Why is it that we don't notice? It's purely because the narratives of the mind are taking up most of our attention. So instead of being able to notice the immediacy and the perfection that's always ever present, we live in a universe of our thinking, of this isn't working out, that isn't working out. Wherever our attention is what our experience will be. It's really that simple. So it's not that practice is to achieve this transcendent state is to realize that the transcendent state is imminent. Like it's already this. If I just went into your brain or into your consciousness and I turned off the narrative producing capacity of your mind, the judging, the evaluating, the analysis, if I was able to just reach in there and switch that off, you'd be free. Just forget everything for a moment. Just forget everything for a moment. It's always just been this. Seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, thinking, feeling, intending. And all of that is the jewel mirror, Samadhi. All of that is Buddha. But because of our ignorance, our not seeing that, we suffer. And we consider ourselves to be separate from what appears or separate from what is happening. So the shift in meditation occurs when you see that it's whatever state that you could produce, whatever practice that you could become proficient at, whatever samadhi that you're able to enter, all of that are just different faces of this. Then you become free of needing to do specific techniques. All techniques are arising here. All meditation practices are arising here. All methods are happening here. If I cross my legs and I go into samadhi, the here just changes from being this living room to some spacious cosmic consciousness or whatever channel of experience I'm going to switch to. Whatever configuration of consciousness I'm going to switch to. But it's the same jewel mirrored samadhi appearing as this or that. This condition, that condition. What's favorable or unfavorable or pleasant or displeasant is really just the result of our thinking. So even freedom and bondage, right? What's the reason we practice spirituality or the reason we seek liberation and enlightenment? What's the reason we do any of this at all? Primarily, it's for freedom. Primarily, it's for happiness. Primarily, it's for meaning. Primarily, it's for purpose. Primarily, it's for the emancipation from suffering and bondage. The emancipation, the suffering, the bondage, the freedom, all of that is appearing in this. This doesn't need to be produced. I don't have to use my conscious attention to generate this or any intentions. Walking is already meditation. Thinking is already meditation. Hearing is already meditation. Why? Because all those things are your mind. And your mind is the Buddha. Your mind is awake. because it's attending to this or attending to that, or investing in this narrative or investing in that narrative, because it is captured by thought and belief, they're suffering. That's the only reason. If I shut that off or take that out of your mind, your brain, then all is well. So okay. Questions. You don't have any questions? Someone could post them in the chat also if they don't want to turn on their microphone.
Hey, Ryan, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Ricardo.
Apologies if doing well. Apologies if there's background noise. I'm walking the dog. I sometimes hesitate to ask questions because it almost feels like questions are mind objections to everything that you just said. While you're speaking, I can feel everything is true. And then the thing that keeps coming back is, why is this not my experience? I feel like I understand, yet I still perceive distance. I perceive other people. I still get triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I'm still swept away. I'm carried away by the moment. The mind is still pretty capricious, it seems like. And sometimes it feels like there's some distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just, in the middle of the hurricane. It's not even like a hurricane sometimes, but it's just identified, I guess, with thoughts and the mind in general. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
We can unpack this right now. Keep your microphone on because we'll go back and forth. So
okay.
So tell me, just look at your mind and tell me, what is it that is experiencing separateness or separation? There's no right answer, by the way. You just tell me what's there.
Well, it's also the mind.
Right.
It's a thought, right? Like I see something, and there's just the seeing. I can see a post, and then the mind comes in and says, "Oh, that post is over there. I'm over here."
Yeah.
And but that's it. I don't know what it's quote unquote supposed to be otherwise.
So when you look at mind, or what we're defining as mind, could you describe it?
It feels like what I am. It's also the faculty with which I experience or perceive.
Yeah.
Like I can break it apart into it can be like multifaceted, but if I don't think about it too much, it's my experience.
Yeah. And you're able to identify that which is experiencing the facets, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so right now you're aware.
Yes.
So I want you to distinguish between consciousness and awareness. So consciousness or mind, this is present, but your mind has two modes. You're either aware or you're not aware. And probably you didn't discover awareness until you became a meditator, right?
Mm.
Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I'm confused.
On those terms?
Perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So first is the sense of I am.
yeah.
Whenever I say I am, there's an intrinsic recognition that I exist, a feeling before a thought comes follows. Would that be the awareness you're talking about?
What is it that knows that feeling?
Uh, my mind? I don't know.
Yeah. Right. So your mind is the constant. You've had some deep states from meditation or some mystical experiences as well,
Mm-hmm.
correct? Would you say
Yes.
that your mind was present in those experiences?
Yes.
I want you to remember even the most transcendent experiences, or if there's one most transcendent experience you ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Was your mind present or not present in this experience?
So
Yeah, it was
I was present.
mind, not you don't have to be right. It could just be
Yes. So yes, what I'm thinking of is that wasn't present, as opposed to other experiences, was the reflection,
yeah.
self-reflection, like meta awareness or meta. Yeah.
Your identification wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the reason the reason you're able to have this recognition of yourself or recognition of mind, but then still regard objects as separate is because the habituation and uh, Buddhism calls them dualistic tendencies or dualistic knots. There's processes in thought that generate the illusion of separateness. So the reason that you have this understanding, or many of you have this understanding, but then there's still this sense of separateness, is because you're not seeing in that moment that the sense of separateness is arising within this one field. The sense of separateness is just an event in this field of sameness.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at your sense of separateness now, or you look at like you can feel into Ricardo now, that sense of Ricardo, wherever it is. Can you sense this presence?
Yes.
Now keep noticing this sense of Ricardo. Like hold on to it for a few more seconds. Just keep attending to it. Be aware. Does it still exactly feel like Ricardo, or are you not sure?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
Exactly.
that kind of fades away.
Yeah. So the self, the identification, is an aggregate. It's like a conglomeration of feelings. Like when you look at it, it's this amorphous thing. It starts. You can't pin it down. So the more and more that you see that the self you're attempting to transcend is just a feeling in this, it ceases to become something you need to do anything about. When you no longer do anything about it, the mechanisms in consciousness that are keeping the separation in place begin to undergo cessation. When that cessation is complete, when that that program essentially has fallen away, then that separation is no longer being produced. So it's really just that because it's being seen as the condition that you're looking at, you're seeing that person as their name and whatever it is they're doing to you that you don't like, because you're not aware, usually in moments of suffering or in moments of challenge, there's that whole reactive process that occurs. So the more that you begin to see that your reactions actually are this, your sense of a personality, your sense of Ricardo actually is God appearing as that, you then gradually arrive at the point where the mind no longer has to do anything. And that's when these little programs that keep the sense of being an experiencer in time start to die. Yeah. It's always just been this mind, right? It's always just been this moment. Literally, our whole life, it's always just been this moment. It's always just been this here. And we know that somehow. So why is it that we still suffer? It's because we live in time and thought and not in this. So the more that there's orientation to this, to the perfection, to the samadhi, to the newness, to the explosion of experience that is happening every single moment, the more that the self that's attempting to control, the self that's attempting to find, the self that's attempting to figure it out, the self that's attempting to not be lost, the more that becomes seen as unreal. And that's when the taste of liberation becomes more and more prominent. This here is not a process, right?
Hmm.
This is just this. There's no process right here. This is just immediate. There's no process. The falling away of your mental habituation is a process. That's the blending of the absolute and the relative. There's always fundamentally here, It's always fundamentally your original face, but habits and vexations take time to be overturned. Those habits and vexations are also your original face. But because of the intensity of those emotions and experiences, we don't see that. Yeah.
Are those little programs that you're referring to, is that essentially what is referred to by the sankharas?
Yes.
These
Vasana.
reactions,
Yeah.
vasanas.
Vasana, sankharas. Goenka calls them sankharas. Most of the yoga systems call them vasanas. Yeah, they're just mental they're karmic tendencies. They're habituations. Yeah, and
Right, conditioned responses.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, conditioned responses, exactly. And even after this becomes more and more evident, there's still, it's possible to still get upset or to still have reactivity. The difference is that it no longer matters that that's the case. Like suffering becomes no suffering. Pain becomes no thought becomes no thought. Because thought is no longer thought, pain is no longer pain, suffering is no longer suffering, it's God, it's illumination. That's how it ends. There are models, of course. Buddhism talks about, like those vasanas being completely destroyed. I think it's possible. But even if that's not the immediate perception that's available, the immediate perception that's available is that it's this. When process ends, the notion of progression ends. When the past and future are finally not where our mental habituation lives, then we're in accord with reality. Because most of the time we're in accord with fantasy. And that's why we suffer. Most of the time we're in accord with, we're living out a narrative, we're living out this script in our heads of what we think we're supposed to do and what we think we're supposed to be and what we think we're supposed to have. Unfortunately, it is always the case that even when we get those things and become those things, there's this dissatisfaction because there is no freedom in what happens. There's only freedom in what is. And what is this awakeness, this jewel mirrored samadhi. Begin to see that the thought you have that I need to go deeper, I need to do more, that the notion of deepening and progression is an event in this field. The thought and the feeling, I'm not good enough, I've practiced for so long, how am I not awake yet? To see that that is an event within this field. The first level is to see that it's just a thought. The second level is to see that it's God, that it's Buddha, that it's awake. To see whatever thought is just a thought that comes up, that's the disidentification. You get some space, you stop taking your thoughts as seriously. When the thoughts and the afflictions themselves arise as Buddha, as presence, as illumination, then you can do things like I've said, I drink fear or I drink pain. Because it's not fear or pain anymore, it's the Lord. So that's the difference.
But you don't suffer. You enjoy the pain.
You suffer, it's just not suffering.
It's just what's happening in the moment.
Yeah, I definitely suffer. I have a grandmother who's not doing too well health wise. I see her. It's a sufferable thing, but I taste that suffering as this. Whereas before, it was just the narrative. It was just the story. It was just whatever I was thinking and feeling. Yeah, I still suffer. I still forget appointments, all kinds of ridiculous stuff. Still make bad decisions, quote unquote bad decisions. But there's a fundamental, it's all good, and there has been a cessation of the notion that it's something other than this.
What about self-doubt?
Doubt about what in particular?
Like insecurities, second guessing yourself.
It depends. If it was, I guess, if it was something new that I hadn't done before, and there was like real serious consequences on the line. I mean, possibly there could be doubt or hesitation, but I mean, so what if there is? That's the thing. There's this ultimate so what? Like fear, so what? Doubt, so what? Anger, so what? Suffering, so what? Happiness, so what? Bliss, so what? Yeah, so even if I did yeah, like I travel quite a bit, right? So there's times where because of the jet lag and whatever, um there's days where you may not feel particularly great physically. So what?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the thing. The thing is equanimity and detachment. Yeah. Detachment, not because you're you're trying to get away from something or because you want to feel better, but it's just a sense that it doesn't actually matter. Yeah, like there's nothing actually wrong with fear or sadness. It's just that our personality really doesn't like it, so it makes this whole thing about it, but it's not. Yeah,
Is this the non-dual shift that you're talking about?
I specifically call this the cessation of mental proliferation. I know that's a lot of words, but it just means that the reality of thought and feeling to a significant degree has been emptied. Whereas with non-duality, you can have the sense of unity, or you can have the state of unity consciousness where you're everything, or you feel that everything's you. It's very common on plant medicine, for example. But those identification structures or those patterns are still there. So that's the reason you may see spiritual teachers engaging in unusual or harmful behavior. Just it's because despite the state of unity, the habituation is still present. If the habituation is not present, there's no reason for anyone to hurt anyone, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So in my case, there's less attachment, less solidity to the reality of thought now than there was after the initial shift, like, I don't know, 7 years ago. Much more so now. Yeah. Like I remember the exact day that the exact moment that the realization of the awake nature of the mind, the awake nature of consciousness was apprehended. Literally, I was in front of a steering wheel. So, but from that moment till now, what was it that changed? It's exactly this stuff. Yeah, the reality of thought, the reality of feeling, and the identification and concern with what happens. That's what changes. Yeah, there's no. I mean, even when it comes to practice, it's like my mind's not even able to produce effort anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Does sound like there's a distance that you've gone from there to there.
Between the distance, he's picking up speed.
No, you've traveled from a point where the reality of thought is not so detached to a point where it is more detached. But that kind of is at odds with it all being reality all the time, never any different. What is that distance if it's all always reality?
Um, could you explain that again? You mean the distance? Or what
Yeah,
do you mean by distance?
you mentioned a moment in time when you were sitting in front of the steering wheel and there was a shift or a movement or a change
Yeah.
from how you perceived it before and how you perceived after, and now there is no, there's not even any ability to sit and make effort to
Oh,
observe. So that seems like there's been a movement for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but how is that congruent with everything being reality all the time with no need to go anywhere? And maybe it's a paradox, I don't know, but mm,
Yeah, I think because there was a realization of the awakeness of of everything and of everything uh being this natural state, that had happened back then. Um, yeah, the only distance I could describe is just these mental habits or identifications falling off because when it when it had become recognized back then, all of that was still present, you know. So it was still this sameness, this same uh this uninterrupted reality or uninterrupted experience. It's just that
mhm,
at that time it had specific factors that are no longer the case now. But it's still the same field.
mhm.
Yeah.
So the mind changed,
Yeah.
not the awareness, not the field.
Yeah, exactly. They
Okay.
call it extinction of mind, right?
Hmm.
Hence how mind's being defined, but mind is usually defined as thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like the mind ceases to think things or ceases to conceive or ceases to plan. It can still do all that. It just doesn't take those things to be real the way that it does before awakening or before that habituation falls away.
So there is a see that's when my mind goes into, so there is somewhere I need to get. There is a goalpost.
Well, who's to say that this is the thing? The idea that you're supposed to get to that is something
Mm.
you've accepted from me or
Mm-hmm.
from some other figure.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's something that you're observing in me and then you're deciding, hey, I want to get to that. That's just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a thought or an event happening in this.
Correct.
That's what it actually is, right?
Yeah. Happening in me.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
The presence of those mental afflictions and the absence of them are the same God. It's just that one God hurts. you know? But it's
Yeah.
life, death, loss, gain, failure, success, they're just alterations in the code of this matrix. They're just different conditions.
Mhm.
So when we see the matrix, when we see the code instead of the matrix, there's freedom. But when we're living under the spell of the matrix, there's not just immense suffering, unending, unbearable suffering forever.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So,
And that this pain that like I'm in right now is it's hard to see myself prized away from this and seeing it as pain but not pain. But it sound like it served you at least in part of that falling away of the habituation of the mind
yeah,
to attach so clingingly. Yeah.
it seems that if you're open to it, everything that's happening is teaching you to let go and to love. If we look at the lessons and the things that have occurred, if we zoom out and we look at this overview, we see that that's really all it ever was.
A cosmic game of sadomasochism.
Yeah,
I will beat you and you will love me.
you could word it that way, but you could see it as it's not possible to know life without death. Experience at all is not possible without duration, without time.
Without absence.
Yeah, exactly. Like even awakening, this whole thing that we're talking about, this conversation only makes sense because there was a mode of operation before it, because there was ignorance and identification. Only because there's that we can talk about this.
Yeah, only because of there's only unhabituation because there was habituation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so binary.
Yeah, it's almost like it's code.
Yeah.
That's the
Shit.
thing.
Some mathematics god
Yeah, mathematics. Yeah,
fucking with me. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen the code so many times, but then it was just pretty colors and divine, ecstatic visual feedback.
the I think I've called it jokingly the geometric hierarchy.
Yeah.
So,
Can't unsee it.
all right, everyone. So we're doing a retreat here. So we have to close this up now, but tomorrow we'll be on at the same time, and we'll go all the way till Tuesday. So,
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
all right.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you very much, Ryan. It was great.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, here's a Buddha bell. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Hey, Fabian. See ya.